Well, hello.
Hello.
Welcome, Scud. I've clickbaited all of you, just so you know. I put in the title that we were talking to a former federal agent, but that's like the least interesting thing this man has ever done. But I had to pick one. So, welcome, Scud.
Thank you.
We're gonna to give the bio, because I think this is awesome. We're doing a DCS tournament at the end of the month called the Dogfight Brothers. Hold on, let me see if I can find the
Dogfight Brothers Fight for Hope.
Yeah, for it's this Dogfight Brothers Fight for Hope, benefiting St. Jude's with the High Alpha Hooligans and the two Dogfight Brothers, and as China knows us, which we'll talk about that in a minute too. But anyway, so we're getting to know the guys because they're awesome, and I'm so glad that Wags put us in touch.
Yeah.
And I said, we need to go on each other's shows and get to know each other before we start, donating to charity, because why not? And,
yes.
And I said, hey, I've got this fledgling podcast that I want to, talk about everything else. And they're like, hey, well, we got two guys that are really interesting that also do non-aviation stuff. And I said, okay, well, cool. Well, what do they do? Like, carpentry, like what do they go fishing? He's like, no,
basket weaving.
Yeah. He used to be an OSI agent and maintainer. I was like, perfect. And as my viewers know, this is a shameless plug. In my first couple books, have a character that's an OSI agent. So he's one of the main characters, and he's a badass. And so I have an appreciate. I don't know any OSI agents in real life.
You do now.
Yeah. So I'll probably figure out that everything I thought was wrong. So don't ruin it for me. But
I won't.
Yeah. So I'm like, because OSI. So for those that don't know, Air Force Office of Special Investigations, it's the NCIS of the Air Force. It's the Air Force version of that, even though I did have somebody tell me that in typical Air Force fashion, they went to the Air Force first and said, hey, we want to make an OSI show. And Air Force said, absolutely not. And then they went to the Navy, and Navy's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, they standard Air Force.
So is that true? Is that a true rumor?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Perfect.
And then they did their like horrible attempt at trying to recover from that was the movie Eagle Eye with Rosario Dawson, and she was an OSI agent. It was a bad movie. It wasn't a great movie, but that was their like, oh, we finally got a chance to recover from turning down NCIS.
Oh, dude. And I mean, now there's like 14 different, there's the NCIS New Orleans, which I like to watch because I like the local stuff.
Yeah.
But the procedural part of it is so bad. Like, I'm watching them clear cars, putting thumbs on top of thumbs and pointing guns at each other. And I'm just like, y'all visor, do you?
So few shows get like the discipline right.
No. Yeah. But so anyway, the OSI world is, to me, very fascinating. And, when I was in pilot training, probably there were a couple times where I'm like, dude, I'm going to have to find another job because I'm not good at this. So I was like, well,
I can relate to that.
I think OSI would be fun if I can figure that out. I like that. And so anyway, enough about my blabber. Let's talk about you. So you started as a maintainer.
Yeah, I enlisted when I was 19.
Okay.
I all I knew is I wanted to be around airplanes, and the recruiter handed me paper and it said jet engine mechanic, and off I went. So I went to Elmendorf in Alaska in Anchorage for 6 years as a mechanic on F-15s and C-130s.
What year? Like how long ago?
99 to 05.
Oh, crap. So you were there pre and post 9/11.
Yep.
Wow.
They got a funny gun story that goes along with 9/11, but yeah.
Please go ahead.
I didn't even think about it until you mentioned it, but yeah, I've been a big gun guy, and I had an AK, semi-automatic AK, and I came back to Utah where my family was on leave, and I brought the gun with me because we were going to go out in the woods, go camping, do shooting.
Mhm.
And then 9/11 happens. And then I've got to fly back to Alaska. And it's the first day that all the airlines started operating again. So the airport is packed full of people. And I'm taking my gun back to Alaska. And in order to check it, they need to see that it's cleared and empty. So at the check-in counter where you check your bags, please open the case and show them the weapon's empty. So I'm opening a gun case and pulling out like the most recognizable terrorist gun in existence in front of, 10,000 people that are waiting to fly.
Wow.
Yeah, that was, you could feel the heat.
Yeah, all the eyes were on you, like Aloha snack bars. Jeez. Had the invasion started at this point? Like we were still like this
was right soon. After.
Yeah, this is okay. So
the first day that the airports reopened.
Wow.
Like within a few days after it happened.
Yeah. So you were on the Eagle jet?
Yeah, I worked jet engines on C's, D's, and E's, and then the C-130 H's.
Is that Pratt or GE?
Pratt's.
Yeah. Did you ever work on any GE engines?
No, I never did.
I was gonna see if you had a preference for.
I already know that I would have a preference for the GEs. The Pratts.
Oh, really? I already know it's better. Yeah, I already know it sucks less.
They're not great to work on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've got experience on one, you probably know what the differences are, at least enough to know what you like and don't like.
Yeah, if you can turn a wrench, you can work on any of them.
I think it's if you dodge a wrench.
That's right. Yeah.
That's actually what you're supposed
to.
Duck, dive,
dip, dodge, something like that. Yeah.
So you were active duty and decided, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, it was fun. I was enjoying it, but I was in a lull. Like I was going to join the Air Force and use all the money to go to college and better myself. And then I was, a young kid in Alaska turning wrenches and going to the bar. Like there was a point in there where I was like, I should do something else. And I happened to talk to somebody who was recruited into OSI, and I didn't know that you could do that. I knew about it. OSI is like it's the boogeyman in the Air Force, especially if you're a young enlisted person.
Or everyone, Yonky.
Yeah. Everyone thinks there's an OSI agent in every like squadron that's undercover, and they're going to bust you for everything. But
they're not.
I didn't know much about it. No, they're not. We have sources everywhere, but not undercover agents. So I talking to this person, I thought it sounded fun. Like that sounds like a really cool job, and it was. So I kind of on a whim, I just went over and asked them about applications, and they gave me the paperwork. And
what's that? Is it like Fight Club? What's the process to get it? Like, because you said your buddy was recruited. Is this like all the movies where it's a dead drop and you got to show up at the hotel?
Yeah. Checking under a false name and stuff like that. No, it was really straightforward. Most of it is background checks.
Oh, okay.
It's massive amount of background checks and the top secret security clearance that goes along with all those checks. And then a lot of it is personality. And it's not like they want to make sure you're a specific personality type, but it's mostly self-protection. They're vetting you extremely in depth so that nothing from your past will come up during an investigation in a court case.
So
cool. They want you to tell them everything you've ever done wrong, and then they go out and vet it and make sure that you weren't hiding anything.
Oh, so is it the extreme interview interrogation where you're like, where were you on the night of Thursday, December 14th?
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. They kind of it's kind of open-ended. They're like, what in your past would you not want us to know about that could affect you in the future? And you tell them all the things you can think of, and they go, okay, cool. Now, if we find out there's something that you didn't tell us, we'll have a problem.
Oh, perfect. So now you not only lose your job, but you're going to jail too.
Yeah. So I went switched over to OSI, and I did that for 4.5 years. And then that job, we can talk more about that, but that job kind of kicked my ass in gear. Started working on getting my college done.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to have a degree even on the enlisted side.
Not if you're, if you're enlisted, you don't have to have a degree.
Okay.
Got my degree in criminal justice, and it was helped by being in the agency. Like the schooling I went through got me through a bunch of the college courses on its own. So I'm like, oh, I can get this degree quickly. And then I looked at, well, what am I going to do if I get the degree? Well, I've always wanted to fly. And then I looked at the clock and I was like, wow, I'm getting old. Like I have a very narrow window of time here.
Yeah.
So I blasted out the college degree. And as soon as I had the degree done, I applied for OTS. And
what was the age back then? 28? Was that still
it was
28?
29 and then 30 if you already had a pilot's license, I think, or
Okay.
maybe it was 30 and 31.
What
But
year was
I
it?
already had this was in 2009.
Okay.
And I already had a private license, so I was already I'd already pushed, or I was getting close to pushing the age limit already, and then one more year that was waived if you had a private license. And I knew, looking at the timeline, like if I get OTS and then I go to OTS and then I go to pilot training, and I've got to graduate before I turn this old. And
yeah. So
and it was quick. So when I got the letter saying I was accepted for commissioning at OTS as a pilot, I was at OTS in Maxwell in a month. Like they saw the timeline too, and they were like, here's your letter, start packing up.
were you the oldest in your class?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the AC 130
was the old guy.
in my pilot training class, and I've got a video where he's like, one of the Italians is like, old man, say something for the American people. You know, it's like, so going back to the OSI thing, because that's pretty much all I care about on this podcast, or the maintainer thing. We can talk about those two. I feel like we got a swear jar every time we start getting into aviation, because I'm like, no, that's for the other one.
I'll
but
steer clear.
yeah, I mean, well, you know, if it's natural, there's no rules here except for that.
You can do that, just not that.
You can do just anything else. So they shine the flashlight and say, hey, he's clean. He doesn't need a colonoscopy this year. And I'll see the camera thing. We've been fighting for a minute. So luckily I got a plan. We just can't use that camera anymore. I don't know.
It's because you said colonoscopy.
I did.
Cutting
the cameras start. See, this camera's just not as good. But anyway, so I gotta move the camera because I can't see you. You were selected, I guess. Is there a board after? Or do they do the background and then the board, or do they hire you and then do the background?
No, they do the background first. They do their investigation. The whole application is an investigation into you. It includes the security clearance and then your whole background investigation. And then if you pass all that, then you go in front of a board at the detachment that is nearest to you that you're applying at. So the detachment at Elmendorf. And then that paperwork is then forwarded to the regional command, which is the next level up from the detachment. They have a board that reviews it, and then it goes to AFOSI headquarters, and then they have a board that reviews it.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
Is there an interview, like a structured interview at some point during this? Like where they're actually like beyond the, hey, have you ever done anything wrong? Are they like asking you any kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
tell me about a time?
Tell me about a time I was going to say it's very similar to like an airline interview. Tell me about a time when, or give us a situation that you were in, or
dude.
If you saw somebody doing this, how would you handle it? Like if your captain was
I'd shoot him.
Do a go around, like
right on
if you had a friend that was stealing stuff, how would you do? And like it's like, well, what do you want me to say? Of course, I'm not gonna like. If you had a friend that was stealing stuff from the government, would you turn him in? Well, yeah. The right answer in this interview is yes, of course. Like, what do you want me to? No, of course not. I'm gonna let him hide his shit in my garage.
So I did it the other way, because I went through the entire FBI special agent process when I was at Homestead flying F-16s.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go to it was at a Marriott, right? It was so you got, phase one is a written test, and that was stupid. And then if you got past that, then you'd go to the structured interview and all that. And it's all a bunch of nerds. like it's lawyers and accountants and stuff. And I showed up as the only dude that was kind of halfway an operator because I was a fighter pilot.
Yeah.
And so we sit down and they're like, tell me about a time, you led something. And I'm like, well, yesterday I led a 4BX, it was me and 3 other jets defending a point against 12 adversaries. And, I protected the target and all that stuff. And I could just see the guy. He's just like, this is the coolest interview. And then finally they go, why do you want to do this? Like, why are you even
here? What are you doing?
What are you doing? And I was going to do it because I thought it was a cool idea, right? Be a, door kicking special agent by day and the other days do the F-16 thing. And they said, well, no, it's a key federal position. You can't do both. You got to give up. And I said, no, we don't do that. But
good call.
Yeah, I thought the process, I figured that it's probably a structured process. I figure all the agents, OSI or whatever. I mean, that's probably not that far off from what you did.
Yeah, it sounds very similar.
Yeah. And then so you went to FLETC, or did they do any training like home station first?
Nope. They make you an agent trainee.
Okay.
Which is the title they give you that lets you in the building, right? Because there's all kinds of secure stuff going on and interviews and material.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in AT status waiting to go to school, you can kind of like shadow agents and start learning the job, but you have no authority at whatsoever. And there are times where they tell you like, hey, you need to leave. This is you're not cleared to be in this interview. Yeah. But all the training is at FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Georgia. The first 11, I think it's 11 weeks. It's CITP, their Criminal Investigation Training Program, which is the training program for all federal agents that are not FBI. The FBI has their own thing in Quantico, but every other 3-letter agency, ATF, Secret Service, DEA, that they all go through CITP. So you go through the same training that every other agency goes through.
With them? Like you had
sometimes they're joint classes. Most of the time it's just OSI agents because they were hiring a bunch. But yeah, there are times where you're in class with them going through the same training. And that training is what gets you your accreditation, your 1811 federal investigator, federally credentialed, going through that program. And then when you graduate that program, you stay in FLETC for another 8 or 9 weeks, and you go through the OSI Academy, which is where they take all the stuff you just learned about being an investigator and they focus in on like UCMJ and military specific type stuff.
Where do they do the gun training?
FLETC has it has indoor ranges. They don't
do that the first part or the OSI part?
No, you do all that through CITP, through the first part. And then when you're in the OSI Academy, you do regular, a couple times a week here at the gun range.
What were you shooting?
SIG 226.
Oh, so it wouldn't go.
Military calls it the M11. Yeah, not the M9. Not that. I love the SIG. Oh my God.
I hate the M9. I hated the Beretta. I just never was a big fan. Not because the gun's bad, but because the Air Force guns are bad.
Yeah.
They're just not. They're so wore out, and rattly, and not put together anymore.
Yeah, they're gross. No, the SIG was great. I was super happy that it wasn't the M9. And I think maybe there's other, special operators in the Air Force that carry other guns, but at the time, I think OSI was the only one that I knew that wasn't carrying the M9. They were carrying the SIGs.
I think they got Glock 19 non-MOS right now. So they can't even, the slides aren't even milled for optics like everybody else in the rest of the world.
Of course.
Which makes perfect sense. Now you're a gun guy. Did you have to, because I remember when I was going through the process, right? They give you the conditional offer and you're going and hanging out at the FBI place.
Yeah.
And, my little pool of applicants or whatever, they're like, okay, who has gun experience? And the ones that didn't raise their hand, they're like, you're going to actually do better than everybody else because most of you that actually shoot probably have some bad habits, which is 100% true. When I
absolutely
went
true,
the actual academy, like I had so many bad habits from from just shooting in the backyard and shooting with no hearing protection and doing all the stuff that you probably shouldn't. Was it tough for you, or did you have enough baseline?
It wasn't. The tough part for me was the stance. I all my life I shot Weaver stance. So I'm shooting sideways Weaver stance, and they were absolutely no, like you're square on.
Yeah,
both arms out in front, and exactly. That's exactly why body armor. So once I got comfortable with the stance, then it was, front sight, focus, hit the target. It was all the same stuff. But there was a moment there where I kept reverting back to Weaver stance, and the instructor would come over and grab my shoulders and turn me. He's like, "No, we don't do that." So there was a while for the first few range days where I was like, "Yeah, I'm struggling here." And it was fun training, man. It was
trying to do the sideways thing.
One sideways, one up, like Denzel.
Yes, training day. Perfect. Yes. No, it sounds fun, just like a long course, though.
It was a lot of fun. The shooting was really fun because they start off with, some people aren't familiar with guns, so it starts off with your basic, like how to shoot. But by the end, the personal protection carry is the course that the Air Force puts you through, which is, it's draw from a holster, fire, on targets, and they put dummy rounds in. So you're going to have to clear weapons malfunctions. And then they time the shots so that you will have to reload during the course. And then it transitions from that to strong hand only. So fire, clear, jam, and reload with your strong hand, and then weak hand. So you'll have to go out left hand, engage a target, reload with a single hand, left-handed.
That's useful.
Yeah.
Wow.
I ripped my belt. I went through a couple belts, just ripping leather belts up, because that's how you reload, is the rear sights on the belt to, charge the slide.
We didn't do any of that. I have no experience with that whatsoever. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Well, and then the rest of the training was great too. They had the driver Marine division where they put you on a racetrack in cars, and you push and push and push until you're on the edge of traction. And then that's the protective service school was that times 10. And that's, but they also had, it's Glencoe, Georgia. The FLETC's like an old Navy base they took over. And so there's this whole base housing area, and that whole base housing area is training grounds. And so they'll put you in scenarios. Sometimes they'll give you a radio and give you a car, and it's just your night, and you just patrol until they call you and tell you to go somewhere. And you roll up to the address, and they have actors from the community. They're constantly on site playing bad guys. And I remember, like, my first scenario, they called us and they wanted us to interview a guy about a crime that he saw. He wasn't a suspect. He wasn't a bad guy. And they're like, okay, so this is the script. This is what you're going to do. You're going to ask him about this. And as soon as we start walking up to the house, the instructor yells in roll, which is their action cue. And this dude comes out of the house with a shotgun. And, we take cover, me and my partner split, take cover, draw down, and we're yelling at him to drop the weapon. And he points it at my partner, and we shoot him, and everything is simunitions. So it's real SIGs with plastic paint bullets.
Yeah.
And we shot at him. And as he fell, he pulled the trigger, and the shotgun had blanks in it and went off. And then I remember, like, okay, as soon as they're done, they're like, at a roll. And then they grab you aside, and they're like, all right, talk me through every second that happened. How many shots did you fire? What did you say? What did he do? And I remember thinking, as soon as that was over, I remember thinking, I just yelled at him, shot him. He pulled the trigger on the shotgun, it went off, and I didn't hear a sound. Like auditory exclusion. My ears shut off.
Wow.
And that was like scenario one right off the bat. And then the houses have movable walls. So if you've been in this house before, when you go back to it, it's not going to be the same layout inside. They have barricades, so they can barricade the door with 2x4. So you have to use a ram to beat it down. And so, like, it's really, really, like, the whole training center is just so well built for law enforcement training. It's incredible.
Was it training that you felt like you were, like, always a little bit overwhelmed, I guess? Like, was it they're always kind of keeping you on edge? Like,
I think so, by design. Like
Yeah.
they're pushing you. They're never letting you get comfortable, so you can't relax. So they're pushing you just beyond what you're capable of. So you're always like hyper focused.
Is it military like? I mean, are you marching around and
no,
doing PT,
we're
sleeping
doing
in the
PT,
barracks?
but we're doing PT, but no, it wasn't barracks. It wasn't military like. It was, because we're us and Army CID and I think NCIS are the only military agencies there.
Okay.
Everyone else, it's civilian. It's somebody that got hired at ATF, so they're not going to do that military crap.
Because when you take that position, correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of lose your enlisted. You're special agent, whatever. You're not, staff sergeant, tech sergeant, whatever.
Yeah.
For the most part,
everyone's the same. The only difference in OSI with the rank is how much you get paid, and then if you're enlisted, you'll probably end up being a superintendent or in an enlisted type job. And if you're commissioned officer, you can be a detachment commander or higher. And then there's civilian agents that fill in the GS roles. But if I'm running a case, if it's my case and I'm investigating it, and then we have an operation, I run the op. And if the superintendent and the commander and the captain are on my op, I'm telling them what to do. There's no there's no rank structure amongst the working agents like that. And then our rank is masked. Nobody knows what rank we are. And the reason for the rank being masked is it's for the courtroom stuff that's going to follow on.
Okay.
So like if a captain interrogates a senior airman or an airman, that airman can now use a defense that they only answered questions because they felt like they had to, because an officer was interrogating them. So everyone's a special agent and nobody has rank, so that there's no claim to, well, I wasn't going to answer questions, but I had to because it was an officer and I'm enlisted. So it's just to take that off the defense's plate.
Is there any inter-office, I guess, sensitivity towards that? If somebody's a officer versus enlisted and kind of figuring, is it kind of one of those things where is it just,
No, not that I experienced. Everyone was chill. Everyone was cool.
I mean, nobody
threw rank around.
Is it the same rules? Could you hang out and go have a beer with another agent that happened to be an officer since you were enlisted? Nobody.
I mean, technically, no. The rules say no, but
oh, here we go. Allegedly,
it's in the detachment I worked. So I worked at OSI at Edwards Air Force Base, and our detachment, we were supposed to have, I think, 6 or 7 agents, but there's always one vacant spot because of manning, and there's always 1 or 2 agents deployed, and then so there's 3, 4 agents, working agents, and then the commander and the superintendent. So, we're not. Yeah. It's Edwards. You're in the middle of nowhere.
I've been there.
We're not going out and drinking with, the airmen on base and having a party with them. So, we kind of have to stick together as a team and go do stuff together. And it's not we're entirely detached from wherever we're at. We don't work for the base commander, the wing. We work for our detachment commander, and that detachment commander works for the regional commander, who works for the headquarters commander, who works for the SECAF. So that's how many links of the chain it takes to get to SECAF, and we're entirely removed. So if somebody on base that knew that I was enlisted and this guy was a captain and we're out hanging out together had a problem, it's well, okay.
Yeah.
Call OSI headquarters and tell them that 2 of their agents are drinking together. Go for it.
Yeah. So your first assignment was, you said, Edwards?
Yeah, that was my only assignment as an OSI agent.
Okay.
1 tour at Edwards.
Yeah. What were you there in 09, 10?
I was there 06 to 09.
When did I go? Because I went to the I call it the spin and pew class. So there's a high AOA training course that the test puts on for F-16, because we lost several Vipers in the community from dudes departing controlled flight. So I went up there, and now I owe $50 to my swear jar for talking about aviation.
It was you, not me.
Yeah, no, I owe myself. But I was out there, and I just remember Edwards was so far out in the middle of nowhere. it's a big base, but there's just not, you're getting boomed all the time, which I thought was kind of cool. Until you're like, I bet this gets old quick.
No, if you're into aviation, it doesn't. It's an air show every day there.
So what did you do? What was your, like, I guess OSI agents, there's various specialties, right? What can an agent do?
Yeah. I think just about everybody starts as just a criminal investigator.
Okay.
Right? And then in your detachment, you are assigned to a department. So there's a fraud department, counterintelligence, and crim. And so I was doing crim. So most of my work was criminal investigations. Anything that dealt with the base. So we could investigate civilians if they were doing something that was affecting personnel on base. That was our jurisdiction. And so a lot of drug stuff, especially out at Edwards, out in the middle of nowhere in Mojave.
What kind of drugs? Like what's the
meth,
flavor of choice?
Meth.
Oh yeah, trailer parks. Yeah.
And lots of open spaces to go Breaking Bad with an RV out in the middle of nowhere and cook. Like that's legit. And whatever's in the local communities on base. Like if the big drug is cocaine in this city, then there's always some cocaine on base. And for us, it was a lot of meth, and then other smaller drugs. So it was
like
that
Hank, like where it was happening right under your nose, and you're like, oh my God, that's my brother-in-law.
No.
The worst agent in the history of the DEA.
Maybe with some of the drugs, yeah, people. Okay, Airman Snuffy smoking some weed. Like, let the security forces investigate that. Airman Snuffy's dealing weed. All right, we're in on that. That you might not know, but like when somebody was involved in meth, there were signs. I mean,
yeah, methany always. Yeah. You always know about methany.
Yeah. Yeah, you can spot that one a mile away.
Before you continue, I just want to ask a question from the audience. Someone called the High Alpha Hooligans, you may be familiar with, would like to know what was it like guarding the alien. Is that you? Which one is you?
I'm on the right side.
Stage right or my right?
Stage was the right side of the picture. Yeah, stage right. Is that stage left? My right.
Stage left. You're right. You're the
Fifi's in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm the one without the beard or mustache.
So tell me about the aliens that you guarded.
Well, whoever that comment came from,
check out subscribe to their channel though, if you haven't already.
We'll have to talk offline because I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
It's about time, actually. We've reached a useful end of
I have a feeling that whoever wrote that was much closer to the aliens than I was out at Creech. So,
speaking of nerd stuff, Captain something from Microsoft Flight Sim sent me a thing. He's like, hey, do you want to test our UFO in Microsoft Flight Sim? And I'm like, why? What?
Obviously, you're more than qualified.
I have no expertise. I can't tell you if it flies right. I have no idea. What do you
just gotta get your inner Will Smith from Independence Day. And
welcome to Earth. Yeah. Punch an alien in the face. They probably don't like that. Probably not. One of those things.
Want to see my clearance?
Yeah.
Look at this. Here's my clearance.
Here. Was there an OSI agent in Independence Day? Probably not.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Wow.
Would have been a nerdy character anyways.
Yeah. So is that true? Are you guys badass like NCIS or a bunch of nerds?
It's a mix.
Okay.
That's the intent. Like they pull from all career fields in the Air Force so that there's a knowledge of everything. Like if they need to go into a logistics squadron, then they can get a hold of some agents that used to do logistics.
Whoa.
And
are there any fighter pilot OSI agents?
Not that I know of. No.
I mean,
if there was a fighter pilot who left that job to go be an OSI agent, then they can have it. That's awful.
They don't pass the mental screening.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's got to be cool. You sit at a desk for 12 hours a day and type reports.
Yeah, that's the reality the shows don't show. For every hour of cool shit you do, there's 4 hours of paperwork.
Dude, cop shows, every cop show is like, oh, we got the bad guys. We got to do a shootout. Tomorrow we're going to get into a shootout. It's like, dude, if I got in even one. Most of these calls in the show where it's like they go talk to Meemaw and nothing happens. I'm like, that's another. I'm gonna have to go park. I got to go write this report. Oh
yeah.
Now,
yeah.
In my law enforcement world, right? The best calls are the ones where you don't have to take paper, right? You don't have to write a report. You can, it's called necessary action taken. You can help the citizen with their problems, but there's nothing that, it's like, hey, well, I just did the thing. Do you have that equivalent in your world? Is that a thing?
There are things we'll go do that we just realize don't warrant our efforts. And so we push that aside and go, okay, that's not us. But we're not out like helping the citizens like normal police. We're not doing the beat cop stuff. Like our job is solely to investigate, felony level crime. So when it falls into our lap and we go, oh yeah, that's real. There's no avenue to go, all right, we don't have to do paperwork on this. It's
well, on the other side, did you go get to kick doors in?
No, I'm not kicking doors in. In fact, most of the time, if we're going to do stuff like that, we call security forces and we bring them in and say, all right, you guys go do this. Cause they train to it a lot more than we do.
All that training you got, you didn't even get to use it.
Nope. They make it clear. Like, could we use it? Absolutely. But if we have a resource available, they're like, oh yeah, call security forces.
You're the executives.
I've cleared a house once. It's the only time I've ever unholstered my weapon.
Really?
I think it's the only time we had to go arrest somebody and went to the door and we knew that his truck was there and he was supposed to be there and he didn't answer. And we had security forces already with us.
And, on base?
It was on base. It was in TLF. And so we had keys to get in because we went to, the people that run TLF and got the keys. And when we went in, we sent a security force around back to make sure he didn't flee out the back. And then a couple agents, myself and another agent and one of the security forces went in and cleared the house. And that was, it felt real. I mean, that was like, I remember thinking like, this guy's he's already killed himself or he's in the house with a gun.
Yeah.
And that, like that feeling of having that settle in wasn't until we were already through the threshold and in the house. And then it was like, as soon as we start opening doors and peeking around corners and stuff, that's when I was like, oh shit, this is real. This guy, I'm going to find a dead body or I'm going to get shot at here. And then I'm thinking, well, man, it would have been a really good idea to have brought my vest. Because we didn't expect it. I mean, we were just going to knock on the door and then.
Oh no. The documentary NCIS, they're always wearing their vest. It always says NCIS in big gold letters on the back.
I mean, I had a jacket that said OSI, but didn't have anything underneath it.
But do people ever go, what's OC?
OC, yeah. What's that?
What's OC? Is that Oos? Is that you Krav Maga? Are you doing some?
Yeah.
I mean, so did you have a rifle?
And
what was it?
For that, no, it was just the.
In general, now I'm just gun guy to gun guy.
Just gun guy. So yeah, we had at our detachment, and they're always a little different. It just depends on what they get their hands on. We had our SIGs, we had M4s, we had Remington 870 police tactical.
With the hand grip, with the pistol grip, or
pistol grip and the side saddle. No, it was pistol grip, side saddle, and short barrel.
Okay.
And then we had 9mm Uzis.
What?
Yeah, in our building we had.
What are you drug running? Who has an Uzi? Why?
It's such a shit gun. Too.
What are you in the 80s? Was that like still there from when Reagan was president?
They were old. Yeah, they've been in there forever.
Did it have the fold out stock so you could shoulder your Uzi for no reason?
Absolutely.
I think by law you can only hip fire them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it'll even work. Did you shoot it? Did you actually go practice with it?
Yeah, we went to the range all the time. It's an awful gun. It shoots from an open bolt. So every trigger pull, the bolt has to slam closed to fire and then lock back. So it's a jackhammer. Like it's just.
But it's only full auto, right? It's not select fire. I mean, it's not.
I think so. I don't remember.
So like, how's that to qualify?
We didn't qual on it.
Oh, you just had it for.
Yeah, there was no reason for us to qual on it. So we just took it out to the range. Every time we went to the range, we'd take all our guns out and go mess around. And then when I deployed to Saudi Arabia to do protection missions.
Oh, cool.
So when I deployed, we qualled and armed up. We had MP5Ks.
Ah, really old school.
God, beautiful gun.
Yeah, I played it. I've shot it in Ready or Not, and also at whatever that gun range is at Las Vegas, where you can rent one for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, the K is the short one.
Is that suppressed?
No.
No.
It's the shorty, and then it's the smoothest shooting gun I've ever fired.
Really?
Yeah. And then through with the security forces, we'd always get to go and mess with their guns. So we always got to go shoot when they had M60s and then M240 Bravos, and
holy crap,
we just go
shoot
play.
Grenade launcher.
I didn't get to shoot the grenade launcher. I did get to shoot an M82 Barrett though.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Dude, my buddy he's always on Primary Arms because they've got their whatever clone for $8,000, and he's like, I need this. I'm like, you do need this, but you never.
Yeah. Then you got to pay for the ammo and the optics, which cost as much as the gun.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
But so, what was the protective detail like?
That was what I specialized in. You'd asked earlier.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of does agent work, and then there's cool specialties. Like if you have a medical background or the right degrees, you can become the forensic science consultant. So the real CSI guy, like they show up full nerd. Yeah. Even nerdier, tech services division. They're the guys that like pick locks and disarm alarms and crack safes.
Well, that sounds fun.
Wow, that would be super fun.
That's like Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You sneak around in your little leather suit.
Yeah. Polygraphers, the lie detector guys. There's a bunch of different specialties. I specialized in protective service operations, PSO, which is Secret Service style protection details for whoever the Air Force deems warrants it. And once you're qualified in it, then you're kind of on call. Like anytime they need agents that are PSO qualified, so you'll get a call and they'll say, "Hey, can you get to this country or this city or this state and go do protection missions?" And so to qualify for that, you go to the PSO school, which is in Richmond, Virginia. It's a Blackwater ITI.
Oh, wow.
No, not Blackwater, ITI Armor Group. So one of those Blackwater style places. They rent their facilities, and that is the best that I would pay right now. Like if you gave me an opportunity to go back and just go through the course again, I would pay money out of my pocket to go do this course.
It sounds like
it's
not like those like the 40-year-old men that pay people to yell at them. Have you seen that? Where it's like what are you doing, snowflake? I'm sorry, sir. I paid for this.
Yeah, no. 6 weeks. And it starts with, driving from the hotel to the compound to the training range. It's motorcade style training. So you're right off the bat from day one, you're 3-4 car motorcading down the highway, 1 foot between each car.
Yeah. Like the Sicario, where you see the black SUVs a foot off each other's bumper. And you're like, that'll never happen.
Nope. And then you get there, and then it was just driving and shooting and shooting and driving, and then driving while shooting, and then shooting while driving nonstop. And everything was built in stages that were really cool. So like the driving, they have a racetrack there, and they have donated cars. So these old piece of crap clunkers, and they'll put you on the track, and they'll be like, all right, keep pushing faster and faster. And then they'll turn off the
nannies.
Yeah, all the nannies, the analog brakes and the electronic skid protection, and then they'll have you push that, and then they'll start doing things like they call it drivable terrain. So like they'll put cones out on the track, and they'll cover your window and have you get up to 40, 50 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and at the last minute they'll pull that out of your view, unblock your view, and your job is to find somewhere you can fit your car. And if that means off the track on a sidewalk, it doesn't matter. Find drivable terrain, because in this world, it's not like you have to do whatever you have to do to protect one guy. This one person is all you care about. So if you drive on the sidewalk and rip through a newsstand to protect this guy, then that's what you do, without killing people.
Wow.
They trained us on like pit maneuvers, and they would say, hey, the pit maneuver is you don't do it until we show you how. But once we show you how, it's fair game from now on. So if you're getting chased by a bad guy and you see an opportunity to pit him, hit him. Same with ramming cars. They'll pull a car out and they'll tell you to ram it, show you how to hit it, where to hit it, to move it out of the way. And then they'll tell you from that point on, if we put ourselves in a situation where you can hit us to get out of this situation, hit us. And so every day on the driving side, we would probably wreck 4 or 5 cars, and they just call on the radio, and a tow truck would bring a new car out and tow the old one back. It's just trashing cars nonstop.
Definitely not service connected when you file your VA claim.
So we were being attacked. We were on a motorcade on the track, and we were being attacked. And we're in the like crappy cars, right? We can't go fast. And the instructors pull up in, a Tahoe that can way outperform us. And what's supposed to happen is the middle car is supposed to move away, and the lead and second cars are supposed to collapse in and create a shield. And you don't outrun them, because you'll never outrun them. What you do is you slow down, you hit your brakes, because they'll overshoot. And the guy in front of me, I'm driving the chase car, and the guy in front of me is speeding up and speeding up and speeding up and speeding up. And then all of a sudden he remembers, oh shoot, I'm supposed to hit my brakes, but he hasn't moved out of the way. And the brake lights don't work because they're all shattered from us crashing into it. So he hits the brakes. I plow into the back of his car. His car slides onto my car.
Oh, wow.
Slides off of my car. My hood bends up in front of the window. And all I can hear on the radio is the instructor yelling, keep driving. You guys aren't done yet. Keep driving. Oh no, you're still alive. Keep going. And then as soon as we get done, there's 3 total cars, and they're like, all right, move cars. Let's do it again.
Did you stick your head out the window like Ace Ventura with the hood up?
I didn't feel comfortable doing that.
Are you wearing a helmet at least?
Yeah, we at least got helmets on.
Okay. No Hans device though, so you could die like Dale.
No. And it was the same with the shooting. It was nonstop. The first day we were on the range, we're getting ready to shoot, and the instructor's like, hold on. You guys, we haven't done PT yet. We're not in PT gear. We're in like tactical gear. And then he takes us on a jog, takes us on a run for a couple miles, and then back onto the range. And we line up on our targets with the targets behind us, and he's debriefing us on the run. In the middle of the debrief on the run, he's like, target to the rear. So now all of a sudden we're drawing and shooting on the targets.
What is a debrief on a run exactly?
I don't know. None of us knew. He just wanted us to listen to him. And then everything scales up. So fallback drills with live M4s where we're in level 4 plates because we're shooting past each other. And
holy crap.
We would probably we'd sweep the range 2 or 3 times a day because people were tripping on brass. I mean, thousands of rounds a day. They had a live fire shoot house. And they would take old cars that were, they would bring them on the range, and they would drive them while we had to shoot at targets. They would drive erratically because that's expected on protection missions. When the cars were broken, they'd pull them on the range, and then we'd shoot the cars up so we could learn which parts were protected against bullets and which weren't. We would shoot at targets through the front windshield so we could gauge the bullet change.
Oh yeah, because it goes. Yeah.
So it was, and that was 6 weeks of that nonstop.
I feel woefully undertrained. This is
amazing training.
I've heard OSI protective details better than Secret Service. Is that true?
I don't know. So let's just say yes, and I'll apologize to my friends that have gone to the Secret Service if they see this.
MJ says, welcome to the former federal agent / nerd, and now your channel doesn't display names either. Congrats. Thanks, MJ. Laura B says, Scud, like Wombat, must have been probed, hence the reluctance to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a sore subject.
Is it still sore? Beef Supreme Aviation says, life has many doors, Scud boy. I don't know if do you know Beef Supreme?
Yeah, he flies with us.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Video game flies with
Plane Rapper says, be careful with the gun stories. We don't want the stream to go flatline. So for your stream, just know that as soon as you show a firearm on your stream as a review, they will take it down immediately. There's some AI bot.
Good to know.
Looks for, so if the hooligans ever get live and start doing that. So tell me about, I mean, if you can, your like scariest story, if it's not the one where you cleared the house, if you got like your craziest story in that job.
Yeah,
your best story, your coolest story, scariest.
I've got a couple of cool ones.
Okay.
I don't know that there's any scary. I mean, that clearing the house was just the first time it felt real. Like, oh, this is just like training. Like something's going to happen. When I did protection missions over in Saudi, there were 1 or 2 times where nothing happened, but there were a couple times where we started seeing signs. Like a broken down car on the route in, and then on the way back, the broken down cars now on the other side of the road, and you're starting to see people milling about. Nothing happened. I think it was legit. It wasn't an attack. I think they were just testing us. That kind of stuff happened. Funny stories though. We did a buy bust,
Okay, so you went undercover?
Not undercover necessarily. There are undercover agents, but that's a very special world that we didn't delve in too much. But when we did a buy bust, like we had an informant, we set up our source to buy all these drugs, and then our source was also going to provide some, like, I want to get this, like, if you can get me enough marijuana, if you can get me enough cocaine that I can distribute, and then what I can do is I've got access to some meth that I can give you.
What's and see, you want some meth?
And so we set up the buy and the buy bust. We do buys to build evidence, but then there's a point where we're going to take the bad guy down. So we do a buy bust, and we did it at a park. They set up to meet at a park, and there was a little lake in the park with a bridge, and they set up to do it on the bridge because that way they could make sure nobody was around. And they're in the middle of the bridge, and they can go separate ways. And so we set up. One of our agents was walking her dog, but it was kind of she had a place to tie it up real quick. Somebody was fishing. Me and a buddy were throwing a football around. We look like normal people in the park. I have no idea that like half the people in this park are OSI agents until all of a sudden guns come out.
You know what? I've been noticing a lot of that lately around my house. Actually, now that you mention it,
be careful.
That donkey has too.
It's because you guys are
dangerous,
suspicious.
Yeah, dangerous and foolish.
So we end up doing the bust, and then we gather all the evidence in our cars. We had, just in case things went sideways, we had M4s in the trunk of the cars, and then my partners take the bad guys to go do interrogations, and I'm taking all the evidence and the guns back to our detachment on base. So it's me by myself in the car, an unmarked car. In the trunk, I've got 4 or 5 M4s and all the ammo. I've got my 9mm on me. And in the glove box, I got a giant bag of weed, a bag of cocaine, and a small bag of fake meth.
Perfect.
And as I pull up to the gate, I see the canine truck. And sure enough, this security forces guy steps out, and he starts waving me over to do the vehicle inspection. And like, for just a moment, I was like, I should let him. I should let him. I should let the dogs.
Oh, dude,
but then I started going in my mind, like when the dog sits and they find the drugs, it's going to be a very short moment for me to try to explain myself before I'm on my face.
Yeah.
And guns are on me. And I thought, better judgment, maybe I shouldn't. But there was just a moment there where I was like, oh, man, this would make his day. I should let him search the car.
I mean, if the dog had hit, if you told them and the dog hits, would they still hem you up? Because
no,
nope.
That badge, most of the time they know not to question once they see the OSI badge.
Yeah.
And it's for good reason, because we investigate their own, like, security forces get in trouble too. So they can't ask questions. We may bring somebody on base who shouldn't be on base, but we might have to do an interview. Mm-hmm. So when the badge comes out, it's a no questions asked. Like,
not in my town. You flash that badge in the old parish, and it's getting worse for you. Just kidding. We love our federale. Unless you're AFT. We don't care about them.
Yeah. AFT?
AFT. That's what all the gun people call the ATF these days.
AFT.
Yeah. Wow. So, hey, we got some heckling from the audience, apparently.
Sure we do.
Beefy would like to say the time that the dude almost took your head off on the range.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that was after the fact scary. That was really scary. That was in PSO school. We were doing exfil out of a disabled vehicle drills. So we're in a car on the range. The threat's off the right side. The instructor has a shotgun full of blanks. So as he's briefing you about what's going to happen, he's shooting the gun under the car. So the car shakes and smoke is coming out. And all of a sudden we're getting out of the car. And as we were taught, get out of the left side of the car. The first people out, take cover around the car and lay down suppressive fire while everyone else gets out. And then they'll lay down suppressive fire with you until we can retreat. And so I'm in the back seat. I get out and I go around the rear of the car. And I'm taking cover behind the rear of the car, and I'm leaning out and putting shots on the targets downrange. And then I lean out to do some shots, and then I get rocked. I mean, like, my head, loudest sound I've ever heard, and my vision's blurry, and I got rocked. And what had happened was that the guy that had gotten out next took cover behind me and was leaning around me to shoot down range.
Oh,
And so as I was leaning, he was leaning around me and fired around right past my head. And I got shocked. And the next thing I know, the instructor's dragging me back out of the range and yelling everyone to stop, ceasefire. And so, yeah, I might have gotten really close to getting my head blown off there, but shouldn't happen, but it's intense training.
Yeah.
I had somebody I know get their toe blown off there. They got shot in their toe by the person next to them. I knew somebody that rolled a car off the highway and had to get pulled out by the jaws of life. It's amped up training, but almost getting shot in the back of the head. Thanks for the reminder, Fifi.
Wow. Okay.
Good
PTSD is not service connected either. Fifi also, actually, you know what? We're going to go Kate, because I did not know Kate knew you guys. She's been a fan of the show for a long time. She says, now I see why folks were saying Scud is Spectre. Do I owe you royalties? That's my main character for my book, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Actually, you're Special Agent Baxter, because he's the OSI agent in that story.
Special Agent Baxter.
Yeah, Baxter.
I was going to ask the name, because if I knew somebody of that name, then I'd tell you if they were a nerd
Baxter?
or not. But
I
don't know anyone named Baxter, so they're probably cool.
You know, you got, well, maybe in your flying days, from your flying, when we talk about that on Monday, we can talk about your adventures. But dude, this is more interesting than that. Surely you don't have anything better than this for the flying side.
I don't ever talk about this, because it was like that whole part of my life just turned off and vanished, and it was all focused on flying. So
once you become this badass, right? Do you walk through life? I mean, first of all, how is it wheelbarrow accessible when you go through certain places to carry I mean, like, how do you put up with the BS of OTS and UPT stand up and all that crap when you're like, I've been through all this stuff?
Flying's been a passion my whole life. So being in that world was, I'll take all the bullshit that comes along with that. Sorry, BS, whatever. I don't know if this is.
We don't care. Yeah.
All right. So it's already too late. I've already said it.
Yeah, it's been.
But I was happy to be there. So the grind wasn't. It was fine. OTS was a break. I'm surprised, because OTS is nonstop, and it was a break. Like it was busy work, but it was busy work that was mindless, and I felt like I had a break, because OSI was not a break. OSI was you're always busy.
Really?
It never ends. It never ends. Every time you're almost done with the case, 2 more drop on your desk. And then every time you're in the middle of 2 or 3 cases, then another agent deploys. And so their cases get dropped on your desk. And in addition to that, I was evidence custodian, weapons custodian, all the inspections that go along with that. It's with the low manning. I'm not saying that the agency's always undermanned, but they sometimes get spread thin. It was nonstop. And it was
travel a lot. Were you like TDY a lot, going place to place?
Only for the protective service stuff.
Okay. Who do you protect? Like, what is is Air Force important people?
Sometimes.
Only, or like who?
No. So in the States, I've done protective missions for Joint Chiefs of Staff, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, SecAF, Undersec, if they warrant it. Visitors, like some generals or admirals from some other country that are guests of the Air Force, and they want to. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily warrant a protection detail, but they want to show how much we appreciate you being here. So look at all we're doing for you. We give you this motorcade and all these agents to protect you.
That's what Gawky's going to get soon.
Yeah. And then when I was deployed, it was the senior ranking military members in country that.
Wow.
Normally, an Army general probably doesn't warrant his own protection detail, but when that is the highest ranking U.S. person in a country like Saudi, where even though they're not they're allies, they're still a big threat there. There are people in that country that would be very happy to take out an Army general. So, and then we get augmented to other agencies. So I've done protection missions for Condoleezza Rice and Laura Bush.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, one of my favorite movies was In the Line of Fire. Thought I wanted to be a Secret Service agent back then. Because did you have the thing? Or were you talking to your
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Eagle is on the move.
Yeah.
Wear the suit.
So stuff like that. And it was fun. It was just fun. Especially in the States, especially driving the chase car, because it's like a license to be the worst driver in the world.
Did you ever flash 10? Did you ever get pulled over by some local cops and be like, here's the badge, boys? Our security forces.
Yes.
On base.
Yes. The one time I was pulled over on base, I was doing 1 or 2 over the speed limit because I looked. As soon as I saw the cop, I looked down, and it's Edwards, and they don't have nothing to do there. So he pulled me over, and I, in hindsight, professional courtesy, I probably shouldn't have done this, but my partner, who was brand new, he's like laughing because I got busted, and I waited until the cop got out of his car. And when he got out of his car, I turned on my lights. And, and he walked back and got in his car and drove away. Like,
that's awesome. I love it. What kind of car were you driving back then? What was the government vehicle? Is it like some kind of
like some Chevy sedan that?
No, Impala.
I was like Impala. It was unmarked. It had all the hidden lights, and
you could either be a drug dealer or a cop. No in between. Probably both in this case. He says also get him to tell the story about how he found some harmless pills that look like Molly.
Oh, no, that's the wrong story. They weren't harmless pills that looked like Molly. The same bust that I was telling you about earlier, the bag of meth was fake, and I made it myself. You probably seen it, maybe the drug Bible, like it shows you every drug and what it looks like. And of course, when you look at meth, it shows all the different pills and shapes and colors and sizes, and they have little umbrellas and hearts stamped in the pills. Well, I was at the store and I saw a box, and on the box, my eye caught it immediately. It was a pill that had a little butterfly stamped in it. And I was like, dude, that looks like it's the meth out of the drug Bible. And so I bought some over-the-counter pills, and then I dyed them pink and red. And that's what we were giving out when people wanted meth. We'd give our sources to sell this stuff. It was an over-the-counter menopause pill. Best part, people are taking this thinking they're going to get high, and they're just taking a menopause.
Helping their menopause. Yeah. Did you ever see? MJ would like to know if there's a crossover, because Colin Powell, we had the Fifi cross. Did you ever protect Colin Powell?
No, that was way before my time there.
That would be, well, no, the Bushes, he was active in the Bush administration.
Bush, yeah.
Bush too. Yeah, apparently he's dead now. I didn't realize that poor man had passed. So rest in peace, Colin Powell.
I will say that those pictures Fifi has of him with Colin Powell, and
they are cool.
With George Bush Sr. like holding foreheads together with him. Those are awesome pictures.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Well, I promised an hour. We are at an hour. I thank you, SCUD, for your service to our country. Well, last question.
Go ahead.
Would you recommend a law enforcement career in the Air Force to somebody who is interested?
If they want to be law enforcement, yeah, go for it. In OSI particularly, absolutely. If that's something you want to do, if law enforcement's in your blood, and you want to do, and I don't want to throw shade at security forces, but they do arrests, and they're the people we call to kick doors in. They've got the dogs, and they keep us all safe. But if you want to dig deeper and do like operator type stuff and have opportunities to get into specialties like protective service and tech services, and get way deeper into that world, I think it's a good agency. I think it's awesome. The training is amazing. Would I go back? No, but that's because I left to go do
do you miss
a bigger passion. I don't miss it. It was a really good job. Like I loved it while I was doing it. Absolutely loved it. And I don't know that I would have been an Air Force pilot without that job, because applying for OTS, it was a lot easier to get a commission as a staff sergeant when you were tech sergeant. It was a lot easier to do that when your resume was like, I protected, important people, and I ran criminal investigations, and I was responsible for evidence and guns. That was easier to put on an application than the amount of jet engines I rebuilt. So it padded my resume substantially.
Yeah.
Having left that job, I found myself much happier. So as much as I loved it while I was in it, I found myself happier out of it. Because
Sounds like a bad marriage.
yeah, it was a good job. And so I don't, I mean, I was proud to do it, but I didn't realize that, like, as when you're in law enforcement, everything you do is, and at least in federal criminal investigation, every case file you open is somebody committing a crime. Somebody sexually assaulted somebody, somebody's stealing, somebody's dealing drugs, and you find yourself surrounded by criminals all the time, everything you do. And so you inherently build up a guard that's okay, that you need to have that. That's a part of the job, right? You're a high risk individual doing law enforcement work. That's why you have a vest and a gun. But when I got out of that job, the threat didn't change. I just wasn't in the world anymore. And so I found myself starting to relax a little bit more. I could sit in a restaurant without having to face the door. And like,
I mean, it's good practice, really,
like
all the time.
Even when I got done with that, my wife couldn't walk for a while. She couldn't walk on my right side to hold hands because that was where my weapon was. She'd always hold my right hand, and I'd switch around and be like, no, you got to be on the left side. And I wasn't even wearing a weapon anymore. It was just that I could relax a little bit more. Not that it wasn't warranted to be like that, because that's part of the job. But once I was out of the job, I felt myself like not needing to be that way. So,
yeah, well, there's always a reserve division somewhere that'll take you if you ever change your mind. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being on this show, and
awesome.
We see you on Monday to talk about the rest of the flying stuff.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Member.
Yeah. Check out the High Alpha Hooligans and the Dogfight Brothers Invitational, which you can be a Dogfight brother too, Scud. I mean, brothers is plural. So we are all Dogfight brothers.
We are all. It's for charity. It's for a good cause.
Hell yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Scud, and we'll see you Monday.
Yeah.